Is this thing the future of swags? That's what I'm going to try and answer for you today. Stick around. G'day and welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's Chris, and before I jump into all of that, I'd like to acknowledge that I am sitting here today recording this video on unceded Aboriginal land of the Ngunnawal people, and I pay my respects to Aboriginal people everywhere. Okay, so this is a San Hima single air swag. It was sent to me by VicOffroad, a great Aussie company down in Melbourne, and they asked me to test it out and give my views. They haven't in any way tried to influence me, and that'll become pretty evident a bit later because I do have a few gripes. But let's put a pin in that for the moment and talk about swags in general. Swags really basically started out as bedrolls. The itinerant swaggies that used to move around the country used to carry them around. That's where they got their name. And they were tools. There wasn't anything flash about them. They were just basically a bit of canvas with a woolen blanket, and you strapped it on your back and off you went. I had one when I was 18. It wasn't quite like that. It was a bit better, but it still pretty much sucked. But over the last sort of 15 years or so, they've transformed into these sorts of things, which is kind of like the industry standard. Heavy duty canvas swags, a couple of flexible poles to set it all out, and a foam mattress. There's tons of companies out there all doing basically the same sort of thing. These air swags though, they're looking to shake things up, to reset the bar, which leads to the question, is this the next generation? Is this what the next standard of swags is? Let's dive in and take a good look. If you want to have a look at how a normal swag is set up, I've done it plenty of times in videos and there's a couple of links down below, but let's have a look at the setup of these air swags. It comes with a lot of stuff in the pack. I did go through all the components in depth in another video, but in a nutshell, here's what you get. The swag, obviously, 2 pumps, a hand pump and a 12-volt pump, an air mattress, a couple of awning poles, a bunch of stakes and 4 guy lines, and some bags to store it all in. Full disclosure here too, I did set it up last weekend in the backyard and sleep in it, so I didn't look like a Gumby setting it up for the first time on video. Good thing too, because there are a few quirks that needed to be ironed out. But yeah, once you know what you're doing, setup is really simple and really quick. You unbuckle the swag and roll it out flat. You attach the hose to the pump and then attach it to the swag. Important you do it in that order, by the way. Put a pin in that. And then you pump it up. Takes about 30 seconds. Super quick. Oh yeah, you might also need to give it a bit of a shake if the tubes get pinched to let the air flow properly. But yeah, it goes up really quickly, about 25 pumps. Then the next step is to blow up the mattress. This takes a bit longer. You also need to do it near your car, and I'll talk a bit about that in a minute. But yeah, once you've blown it up, you can pop it in the swag. And there's a right way up for the mattress too. There's a soft side, which is a great little addition. Okay, once you're done with the mattress, you can stake out the weather shields on each end. And if you want, you can stake down each corner as well. And the last step is to set up the awning if you want one. The poles are straightforward and easy to set up. And they go through the eyelets and it's just a case of staking it out. Easy. The whole thing takes about 10 minutes tops. Yeah, so this is how it looks all set up. It looks really good. It's really sturdy and I like the colours. But put a pin in that as well. So here are all the specs. The external dimensions, and keep in mind this is the single air swag. So the external dimensions are 2200mm long, 1100mm wide, and 1000mm high, 1 metre high. The internal dimensions though, they're 2 meters long, so 2 meters inside, 950 wide, and 690 high, which is really good because you can sit up inside the swag. It's made from a 245 GSM polyester cotton with a polyurethane coating, totally waterproof. The floor is a 600 GSM PVC. Nice and sturdy, and again, totally waterproof. It also has an SPF 50 sun protection. The mattress is 170mm thick, which is huge. And comfy too. I don't usually like air mattresses, but this one's a cracker. They really nailed it for comfort. The inside poles are air poles, obviously, but they have a real sturdy feel to them. They claim they're indestructible, but they also give you a repair kit as well. So yeah, read into that what you will. All up, it weighs about 15 kilograms. The poles are like 90mm thick, which is, much bigger and much more obvious than the fiberglass ones you get on a regular swag. And it's a bit weird, but they soon disappear into the background. As for price, well, this single one is $369.95, which is on par with most normal swags. and the double swag is $5.50. Yeah, so before I sort of talk you through all the pros and cons, I thought I'd show you how it all packs down. Again, really straightforward and really quick. You unplug the valve from the mattress and it deflates in a few seconds. Fold it up and stick it in the bag. Unplug the swag valve itself and it deflates without any real hassle either. Fold in the sides and roll it up. The straps actually aren't attached, so you have to make sure they're handy before you roll it up. That was a Gumby error I made the first time. But yeah, they do go on easy, and the whole box and dice packs up nicely in the bag. Easy, super cool, and super fast, which is awesome if you want to get on the road. Yeah, so they're the mechanics of how it all goes up and what it's all about. But, I guess what the most important thing is what was my experience? How have I found this swag? I've slept in it a couple of times now. I slept in it once in the backyard and once out, at a campground. And when I slept in the backyard, it dropped down to -3, but I was nice and warm. Yeah, I thought lying on a 6-inch bag of cold air would suck, but I didn't even notice the cold. In general, it is all really, really similar to other swags, and I think that's a really good thing. It's got great doors, really easy access, midgy mesh fly screens on all doors, so plenty of ventilation and plenty of protection from the bugs. Nice big awning, and the poles have these really cool things on the top so your guy lines are secure. Pretty cool. The stakes are brilliant. Glow-in-the-dark tops, made of steel and have this screw-in grip. Love these things. There's 4 pockets inside, and I like how they're set up higher than my other swag. It's a great idea. It means you can see if there's stuff inside the pockets without having to climb in, which means there's, less chance of rolling your keys up in the swag, which I've done a couple of times. The canvas is nice and light, but all the seams are sealed, which is pretty cool. Totally waterproof. Lots of air movement. As I said, that's a biggie for me. I hate condensation. And the mattress is awesome. It's a sturdy bit of gear, but it's super comfy. Even my wife thought it was good, and that's saying something, I'll tell you. Yeah, lots to like about this swag. They've nailed a lot of the key things. But there's also a couple of things I didn't like so much, and probably the biggest thing is, it comes in a lot of pieces. It's like putting a jigsaw together each time. My other swag is one big bit of gear, but it's all in one. Swag, mattress, all the bedding, pillows, all that. I even have some woolen socks and a beanie and a few other things which I leave in there. All in one. Roll it up and you're good to go, literally. Even the poles and stakes and all the other stuff rolled up together. This one though, you got to kind of assemble it from scratch each time. And there's bits to look after. Not a huge thing, but stuff does get lost sometimes. Secondly, set up time and convenience of setting it up. The swag itself takes no time, which is great, but the mattress is a bit slower. Plus, you need to use your car, which could be a bit of a problem. A lot of the time I camp 50, 100 metres away from the car. So needing an electric pump might be a bit of a hassle sometimes. And you need pumps. Duh. But it is a thing. You need gear to set this swag up. And then you've got to store that gear somewhere. And that brings me to another little ditch I found. The pump doesn't exactly have that last forever sort of feel to it. It's pretty cheapish plastic, so not sure how it'll go being chucked into the swag and thrown around in the back of the ute a few times. Also, the hose has a moulded plastic fitting on the end that attaches to the pump. It's not a big thing, but it means you do have to spin the whole hose to attach it. It sucks when you've already connected it to the swag, which I did the first time. Fourthly, the awning poles have these really cool attachments on the end, which I mentioned a bit earlier, but they're not very big. If you've ever slept in a swag when it's wet or cold, you know that crawling out at 4 AM to take a waz and having a wet awning brush against your back is the pits. It'd be better if these things were a foot higher, I reckon. And the last thing, the colour is cool. This thing looks awesome, but it's winter right now and we're in Australia. So not sure how this black swag would go when it's 40 degrees outside. There's plenty of ventilation, but still, some choice in colour would be good. So a few things that they could work on with the next generation of this swag, but nothing's ever going to be perfect, but none of them are deal breakers either. So what's the verdict? I figured the only way I could really sort of assess this was to compare it against my other swag, which I love, and just sort of see how it benchmarks against the things that I find important. So here's what I reckon. The swag is really good on things like size. You can sit up inside this one, big win there, but it's also the overall comfort and fit out, and they're probably the most important things, to be honest. Where it doesn't go so well is in the setup. Lots of bits. Plus, you have to make the bed each time you get into it, and that sucks. It's just another thing you have to do. But other than that, it's not altogether different from other swags, and that familiarity is really good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So not much in it. I really like it. Those glitches will soon get ironed out, I'm sure. And I've basically tested it as they've sent it to me. It'd be interesting to see how it'll go with a few modifications. I was thinking wonder what it would be like if I was to replace the air mattress that they give, as good as it is, with a smaller one of those ones that are self-inflating, so you don't need to carry a electric pump with you, and have it so you could roll an air mattress and even a sleeping bag up inside and see how big that package would be. Be good to see if you could get it to a point where you could strap it on your back like a bedroll and go hiking with it, even if it was just for a couple of kilometres to get away from your car. It's one of the downsides of swags is you can't get too far with them. So I was thinking I might be able to modify this one, and when summer comes around and you don't need all the layers and a lot of extra bedding, I might give that a go and see how it goes. But yeah, I like the swag. If you're looking for swag, if you're in the market, you could do a lot worse than test this out. There's a link down below. Like I said, I'm not getting any kickback from any of that. It's all personal view these, and the guys at VicOffroad haven't sort of incentivized me to sell this thing. I do like it. I think it's got a future. It probably could do with a little tweak, and I'm sure they're working on all of those things. I know they did have an earlier version of the swag, and they got a lot of feedback about that, and they've improved that. So I think that they're well on the way to making a pretty good gear. So is it the next generation? Maybe not yet, but I reckon it could be. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, and thanks for staying until the end of this little review. Something different for me. And until next time, stay safe.